Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by First Financial Bank. Another step on the path to success. By IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and energy costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com. And by Nationwide. At Nationwide, we put members first. To find a local agent, visit Nationwide.com. Nationwide is on your side. It's a hockey night here in Central Ohio and at Nationwide Arena. The Blue Jackets and the Capitals will meet for the fourth time. Caps lead the series 2-0-1. One more game between the two teams after tonight, and that will be in March. Curtis McElhinney, in the absence of Sergei Bobrovsky, will carry the load. His last 6 appearances, 3-1 with a .937 save percentage and a 2.03 goals against average. At the other end, it is Braden Holtby, who is tied for 8th in wins, as you see that number, goals against average. He is 4th, and he's also 4th in shutouts. Our officials tonight: Brad Watson, Eric Furlan, Jean Morin, Brad Kovacek, the linesman. The Capitals wearing their traveling whites, the Jackets in their dark blues, and Alexander Ovechkin's enjoyed a couple of extra days here in Columbus. Jody?
Yeah, he didn't fly home on Sunday night or Monday. He stayed here since his team did travel here Monday for this Tuesday game, so he just stayed an extra day and enjoyed the Columbus area.
Well, there is Nick Foligno, a line mate in the All-Star game of Ovechkin's. And we understand there is a brief delay due to the goal light at one end not functioning. That'd be a mistake. Which end is it?
It got worn out in the All-Star game.
Yeah. Oh, it's the Washington end for sure. We can't start until that red light goes on. There may be several goals scored at that end of the ice. But you're right, it did get worn out.
Nobody tested that light after the All-Star game.
Along with the Cannon got a pretty good, thorough run as well. I love the Cannon. I can tell you, though, a lot of media people and some of the players didn't necessarily like it, but we like it. And I'd like to hear it again a few times tonight. We are underway, and it's played there by Carlson. Jackets head out tomorrow for 2 games in Florida, taking on the Panthers Thursday night. More on that a little bit later on. Cam Atkinson reunited with Johansson. The shot saved there by Holtby. Toss back to the point. Savard drills it wide of the net. Jack Johnson can't play it. Off that backboard, a race for the puck. And Savard will get there well ahead of Ovechkin.
Good job by David Savard to cover for his partner, Jack Johnson, who got fooled by the puck. It bounced off the wall, the far wall, off the Blue Jackets shot. Kind of funny. But Savard back to cover up.
Oh, McElhinney, nice stop, rebound. McElhinney hugs that near post and makes yet another stop on those back-to-back shots. James Wisniewski, Hartnell along the boards. Rolling puck, away goes Brandon Dubinsky. Trying to catch up there is Josh Anderson. Knocked away by Alzner. Ovechkin, a long shift for him. He'll send it to center before Wisniewski drives it back. Holtby. Touch pass there by Niskanen, the former Penguin, signing a big ticket in the offseason here. There's Ward hit by Dubinsky in front of the Washington bench. Left wing pass, Alzner steps up. The Washington defenseman sends it on. McElhinney down, and he will cover up. So after this face-off, that gives us an opportunity to get a look there at Todd Richards and Jody's Toyota Keys, presented by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Blue Jackets got to be hungry at the net tonight, Jeff. That puck is there. They've got to get it and throw it in there. Get to the rebounds. Leave it on the ice. Can't save one shift or anything. Get all your energy together and use it on the ice starting tonight, every game, every shift, and make the Washington Capitals defend. You're playing against one of the elite offensive players in the league in Ovechkin, along with Backstrom. Make them play in their own end and defend.
Talking to Barry Trotz as I went downstairs during the pregame skate, he is not happy with the way, Jody, that the Capitals are playing. They're winless in 3. They've dropped 2 in a row on the road, and he said, yes, we had a great December, but we are struggling here in January.
Well, and he hopes that he credits those losses to poor decisions because of mental fatigue. The Washington Capitals played 7 games in 11 nights going into the break, and he said just some of the plays that he saw in front of him and those 3 losses, he just didn't understand. So he's hoping he's got a rejuvenated team here tonight in Washington, but the Blue Jackets should come out. I think they have had a couple good shifts here to start this game.
Washington hasn't played since last Tuesday night. They led 4-2 with less than 5 minutes to play at home. Oh, Mike Green with a touch there to get it away from Letestu. Wilson can't play it. Puck sent ahead. This is Beagle walking in. Right wing feed for Wilson. And it's chopped behind the net. Now they led by 2 goals with less than 5 minutes last Tuesday night and lost in a shootout to Edmonton.
And that was a high hit on Corey Trop, and Wilson's going to pay the price by going to the penalty box.
Jared Bull has some words for him.
That verifies that, yeah.
Jared's back in the lineup tonight.
Good to see that. Jared's back, and he said, you know, they're lying.
Washington penalty 43, 2 minutes board.
Boarding. Watch this hit here on Corey Trop. This is in the defensive zone for the Blue Jackets. See Trop kind of checks the left, but he didn't see to the right where Wilson came in. Took advantage of Trop. Just trying to play the puck there.
These teams right next to each other as far as power play and penalty kill. In fact, they're tied to the penalty kill. They're 1/10 of a point separate Washington from third. The Blue Jackets from fourth. 37 goals, 24.3% of the Jackets on the power play. On the penalty kill, tied for 19th with the Blue Jackets are these Capitals. They've allowed 32 power play goals. They've killed off 79.5%. That's uncharacteristic of a Barry Trotz coach team.
Not being so good, not being better on the penalty kill?
Exactly. There's Hart.
How about being so good on the power play?
Well, the knock on him, and I didn't necessarily agree, they just didn't have the horses in Nashville, and they certainly made some interesting moves this year, but the knock on him is he was a defensive coach. I think he's done a pretty good job offensively this year.
I agree, but he's got some pretty special horses down there, and with Ovechkin, Backstrom, Green on the point as the offensive defenseman.
Without question. Here's Johansson, fires his shot. Holtby sees it through the traffic and hangs on. And there is the aforementioned Barry Trotz, always jovial. Spent part of the weekend, he told me, here in Columbus, but I know some people suggested he was here all weekend. He said, I came in, went to the zoo, took his family there, and then went down for dinner in Cincinnati. I asked him if he was getting out of town so he wouldn't have to buy me dinner.
The Columbus Zoo, yeah, it's I heard he was very impressed with that area of this city.
Yeah, wants to start getting a campaign going to save the tiger.
Oh, really?
Yep.
It's interesting.
Well, he's an active guy. In Nashville, he had one of the great charities going alongside Brent Peterson. And the two of them had every country and Western star at their golf tournament and dinner and event. Tremendous person.
Yes.
Of course, he's back with the Capitals for a second time. Was their coach in Baltimore, the Skipjacks, their farm club. And then also scouted for Washington. And David Poole got the job in Nashville while he was hired immediately.
The Tiger, speaking of the Columbus Zoo, is fully the Tiger. Trotz is looking to put a campaign together to save.
Here's Connaughton moving in. The shot is blocked. That's off the leg of Cam Atkinson. Atkinson can't stay away from difficulty. He has worked hard, but he has failed to score in almost 2 months now. For a goal scorer, that's a long goalless streak. Currently sitting at 17 games.
Well, tonight he's playing on that line with Ryan Johansson and Nick Foligno, the All-Stars, so hopefully he can get going. He's got the effort every night. You see him in front of the net. You'd like to see a guy like that get rewarded. So would his teammates.
Well, the good thing, Atkinson has 7 points. 5 of them are goals in 7 career games against Washington. So hopefully that magic continues tonight. Let's check out the Elk and Elk injury report. And as I'm sure many of you are aware, the latest injury, certainly a damaging blow to the Jackets with Sergei Bobrovsky injured in the final game before the All-Star break. Bobrovsky's in the building tonight getting treatment. As you get a look at Curtis McElhinney, who, as we point out, has certainly stepped up his game. The Jackets hope he can continue because he's going to carry the load.
Yeah, he's played very well, Curtis McElhinney. Sergei Bobrovsky is out 4 to 6 weeks. There you see Anton Forsberg, who was supposed to play in the American Hockey League All-Star game. He earned that right for his play down there, but he got called up yesterday and didn't catch the game, which was played today. What day is it? It was played, just played.
Tuesday.
Yeah, just played down in the American League. So good for him to earn that right to to play there, and the organization has got to be proud of their guys that earn those rewards through their play. And that's a great indication. Here he is. Yeah, he said he had a comment. Sure, I'd love to be in the All-Star game, but hey, I want to be with the Columbus Blue Jackets.
After all, it is the NHL, right?
That's right.
5 minutes plus gone here in a scoreless first period. Washington with an edge at 4-2 on the shot clock. Jeremy Morin also injured in that Winnipeg game. He did not finish the game. Back in the lineup tonight. He's got a couple of new line mates in Wenberg and Calvert. Some pretty good speed on that line, Jody.
Yeah, that's got some great speeds. And you saw Morin, he left the game in Winnipeg early on. And he used the break to get better and get rested, and he doesn't miss a beat. So, different guys did different things over the breaks, but that was a guy that left that game, that last game before, got healthy and doesn't miss a beat, which is good for him. Good for the team, too, because he's done a good job here lately with his speed.
Orpik, yet another Penguin that's signed in Washington after Pittsburgh's run in the playoffs, including that series victory over the Jackets. Down that right side, these two signed a pretty big ticket here with the Capitals. Niskanen turning it over. Josh Anderson had it briefly. Puck chipped ahead, backhanded by Johansson. Not the Jackets Johansson, but number 90 of the Washington Capitals. Puck chipped in front. Johansson down the left wing, steers it by Savard, hustles after it. Defending there is Jack Johnson. Johnson leading the Jackets in time on ice per game, better than 24 minutes a night.
He logs a lot of minutes, and he does it very effectively. Down there in the defensive zone, he'll play against the top players in the league every night. They got that size. Him and Savard just lean on them enough to take away that time and space. And you see there, that big hit. That's what we like to see out of Jack Johnson, asserting his physical play, especially early in the game.
All they're trying to catch the Jackets on a line change. Brouwer off the leg there of Jared Bull. Puck sent to center. Thrown to the left wing for former Jacket Jason Chimera, who was all smiles this morning as he walked into Nationwide Arena.
It's always nice coming back to a familiar team, and especially Chimera, who was such a big part of not only the organization, the community here in Columbus.
Bull, Trop, looking for Letestu. Letestu right back behind the net for Trop. Beagle is there, reaching for it. Jared Bull, Beagle, ahead here for Green. Headman's that puck, here comes Chimera. Down that right side. Wilson, the long shot, stick to side, and McElhaney will cover up. 7 minutes, 50 seconds gone in a scoreless first period. Washington 5 shots. The Capitals.
It's Capitals here in Columbus, Ohio, and big Metropolitan Division game here tonight. And look at the records. Washington is doing damage in the Metropolitan Divisions, 10-2-4. We see that. And the Jackets, not so much. Now, that's the difference in the standings. And if Columbus wants to make up ground, it's games like this against the teams in the division that are ahead of them. And if you look at Washington's schedule, they've only played the Penguins and the Rangers once each. So that's 2 out of 8 games they have to play against those guys all year. So that means they have 3 more against the Penguins and 3 more against the Rangers. That's good news in my mind for the Columbus Blue Jackets. But in saying that, if the Blue Jackets don't take care of their business, and especially in the Metropolitan Division, then their hopes are going to be extinguished pretty quick.
15 games remain within the Metropolitan Division. Jackets with 15 games left. They've got the Rangers twice in New York. They also have 3 games against the Penguins. 1 more, as we mentioned from the outset here tonight, against Washington. That's in November. Another trip to New Jersey still. And, of course, another trip to Carolina. So those are all games that the Jackets can look at as proverbial 4-pointers.
And Jeff, if we go back to Todd Richards' comments, which I love, I'm sure he's checked all that out, but none of it makes a difference if they don't take care of their business every single shift, every single period, and every single night. And that means players know that.
2 points are 2 points, right?
That's right.
Approaching the 9-minute mark, David Savard steps in front of the net, gets it ahead there. With Josh Anderson, rolls off his stick. Ward shovels to the corner. Like in pursuit. Good cut off there by Savard. Takes a hit. Fair in front for Alsgaard. It's ripped wide. It was Fair who scored the overtime game winner in the previous meeting. Some 42 seconds into overtime. Ward cuts it off. Ward raked wide. Alsner dumps in. McElhaney unable to tee it up as we approach the midway point of the opening period from the corner. Looking to walk out. In the blue paint, just now getting up the Washington forward, Like. And the Capitals dumped it back deep in the zone and change up.
You know, the Blue Jackets have got 3 shots on net. I think they've all come from that Johansson line. Nick Foligno and Cam Atkinson. Their first shift, I know they had a shot. Their next shift, they had an opportunity down there. These other lines seem to be feeling each other out. They just need to get in there and get involved and get the puck at Holtby. Too tentative right now.
Puck back in Washington territory. Hillen on the defense there with Mike Green, the right-handed shooting defenseman. Certainly a player that's been mentioned potentially in trades, Jody. If the Capitals have got a top 6 forward, which apparently they covet, Brouwer drops it back. Johansson ridden off on the play there by Alexander Wenberg. Dalton Prout. Prout turning away from traffic. 9 minutes, 40 seconds remain. Scoreless in the first period as the puck is tossed far side for Dalton Prout. Steps away from Chimera. Bouncing puck, shoveled to the left wing boards, and away goes Matt Calvert. Calvert did not practice yesterday. He too suffering from a sinus infection, but he's in the lineup tonight.
That's good to see it. Todd Richards said he went back to the Winnipeg game even. Calvert wasn't feeling that well, but he couldn't tell from his play on the ice. Good speed, asserted himself all over the place with physical play.
Speaking of physical play, good hit there by Letestu on Alsner up against the wall. Chimera avoids a hit there from Jared Bull. Deep in the zone. Savard. He gets a piece of Chimera. Bull now takes a hit there from Wilson. It's not going to take much to get those two going here tonight.
Well, Big Tom Wilson, last time we saw him here, he was on the Ovechkin line with Backstrom, and they've moved him around. Now it's Burakovsky's up there with him. And you talked about trade bait in Green. They're really looking for a right winger to play on that line because there's been a few different guys up there. I know Tom Wilson, he knows how to drop the gloves along with Jared Bull.
Oh boy, Wisniewski's shot redirected off into the corner. Burakovsky out there, jersey number 65, the rookie. High potential, in the words of Coach Trotz, and getting an opportunity to play here on the top line with Backstrom, one of the great playmakers and underrated in my opinion. And there's Burakovsky, deals to the corner. Connaughton defense. Good work there against the two Capitals. Here's Johansson. Carries it up. Left wing pass for Foligno. Cruising down the right side is Atkinson. Foligno held up. There'll be a penalty there. Jackets will go to the power play. Out steps McElhaney. Scramble in front. Play is whistled down. And a holding call will give the Jackets their second power play of this opening period. Niskanen heading off.
Scoreless game in Nationwide Arena, but Nick Foligno and the Jackets getting set to go back on the power play. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, Allison Lucan tells you how some of the Jackets enjoyed the All-Star festivities and prepared for the second half. Go to the Hot Topics section to see how Nick Foligno and Ryan Johansson impressed on a national stage and how the NHL's best helped grant the wish of a teenager fighting a tough battle. Complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports brought to you by 1-800-SAFEAUTO.com.
And for those of you tuning in here right now, you'll want to stay right with us during the first intermission because Dave Metzold, who does it so well, has put together a reflective piece on the All-Star weekend that Gary Bettman called spectacular and awarded an A+ to the Jackets and the city of Columbus for a great All-Star weekend. And if nobody else can do it, Metzold has really put a nice feature together. Backhanded, quick shot, high off the shoulder of McElhaney, steered wide of the net. Jackets will play it. David Savard steps in front. Brouwer heads off. Jackets move up ice. Dubinsky threw it across the line. Hands it here to Hartnell. From the point, Connaughton taking it from Savard.
Nice little play there to Atkinson. That relieves the pressure. coming from the defensive forwards that are pressuring the D-men. You pop it to the middle there to Atkinson, then someone's got to go after him, and then it opens up the points again.
Interesting that we're seeing some switching up here by the Jackets on the forward lines and the defense. We saw Savard playing with Connaughton for some time. Up front, Atkinson found himself on that right wing on that shift with Dubinsky and Hartnell.
Yeah, Todd's not keeping his regular lines, which he has in the past, as power play units. He's going to his reliable power play units. Third in the league, or fourth best power play in the league. Why not stick with those guys? So he's got Hartnell still with Johansson and Foligno as a power play unit, but not a 5-on-5 unit.
And no Jack Johnson with Savard on the points of the power play, but Wisniewski and Jack Johnson continue to play. 25 seconds remain on the Jackets power play. It's their second. Whatever it takes, Jody. Jackets are looking for offense.
That's right. And these guys have worked on their plays. There's a pop play to Hartnell that we've seen used a lot. And these guys are comfortable setting up on that power play, so why not keep them together?
Hartnell pushing and shoving there with Brouwer. No damage done. Jack Johnson picks it up in neutral ice. The penalty is over. Niskanen steps out. Here's Brouwer. Back at full strength of the Capitals. Brouwer spins, turns, looks into the slot, gets away from Carlson at the right point.
Jackets caught a break there as Ryan Johansson back-checked. He lost his edge, and that really opened up a lane there. But the Capitals couldn't connect on their passes.
Dalton Prout. Tootin. Off a stick. Orpik, far side. Thrown up the middle there for Backstrom. Right side carried into the zone. Burakovsky drilled along the wall. Jackets headman that puck, looking on that right side there for Josh Anderson, but it fails. Burakovsky able to steer it deep. Tootin paired here with Prout. A little more than 5 minutes remain. Hillen chops it to the far side. Matt Calvert to pick it up. Ovechkin finishing a check there. One thing about Ovechkin, he may be an offensive force, but he loves to lay the body, doesn't he?
He knows how to do it, too. He's got the speed. He knows how to time it right and light guys up.
Well, just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time. Later in tonight's contest, it's brought to you by Miller Lite.
There's Brandon Dubinsky. He's got a bit of a shiner there. He took a stick in the eye in Winnipeg, and he's a guy, if this team's going to make the push, he's the emotional leader. You see him, he's standing up on the bench right now. He's engaged. We know that. He's had a nice little break, probably well-deserved, coming off an injury, making a push. And Blue Jackets know how important he is to this team, and especially his teammates. It's good to have Brandon Dubinsky around.
Well, for those guys that didn't stick around for the All-Star weekend, there must have been, I know you talked to some of the players, there must have been some exciting weekends for some. Anybody do anything out of the ordinary?
Oh, there was some fun stuff. Corey Trop actually went to Michigan. To Kurt Gibson has a ranch up there, and he did some snowmobiling for a couple days just to get away from hockey, but he seemed to be very refreshed and rejuvenated.
Kurt Gibson, the former Major League hitter,
That's
one
right.
of the best. World Series winning home run for Gibson.
Here at Nationwide Arena, Craig Hartsburg, what are your thoughts on the pace of play so far after both these teams come off the break?
Oh, it's a tight game. I don't think either team's really got their game going yet, but yeah, we gotta hold their big guys under a blanket and just keep pecking away here.
Had a couple of power play opportunities. Would you like to see a little more there?
Yeah, I don't think we created enough. Obviously, we've got to get more pucks than that. I think we lost some battles on loose pucks that again cost us some time.
I like that Hartsburg. He's always got the good insight, and he sees that his team is playing a little bit tight right now. Neither team has really got their game going, he commented on. So we'll see what happens, what kind of breaks this feeling out process.
Before the Jackets hit the ice, get ready to join the battle on Blue Jackets Live right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Blue Jackets Live is brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Jared Boll back in the lineup, and he understands as a line they've got to bring more to this team. More on the scoreboard, more energy. And it's no fun being out of the lineup, but it sure does give you a chance to see it up from up top. And look for him to reassert himself here tonight.
No, Wilson's out there now. Will they come together here? Right now, Bull cruising in the slot. Up high, Olsner. There is McElhaney to hold on. Chimera fencing there with Dalton Prout. Wilson steps in. Wilson and Bull come together. No damage done. What do you do in that instance? Do you look the guy in the eye, or do you kind of skate away?
You're putting me on the spot, Jeff.
Well, no, but
I would look right through him.
You would. Okay.
Oh, right through him.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair
Good
question.
time for a good old dust-up, I would say. You know, you have Dalton Prout, Jared Bull. But there's other intangibles there, too. Are you late in the shift? Maybe you're, tired. Maybe you wait to set it up so that the other guy's tired.
Absolutely. Any advantage, right, Jody?
Yeah. Try to be fair, though. I love the communication we've seen between Johansson, Atkinson, and Foligno. And it was during one of the breaks I saw Atkinson talking to Johansson about decisions with the puck and where he's going to be for them. And I just like to, it's just very good to see that, because you'll see players sometimes.
Oh boy, McElhaney is down after getting bumped. He's all right. Ovechkin throws it in front. It just steered wide off the stick of Burakovsky. Foligno unable to clear. Now Johansson comes up with that loose puck on the errant pass. He'll lift it up and out. One thing about Atkinson and Johansson, they're best friends off the ice. And when you put the three of them together, Foligno, Johansson, and Atkinson, it's probably the three closest guys together.
It's good to see that, hear that, because, and here's a look at Curtis McElhaney. He gets kind of bowled over there. You see him as he stays down. That puck gets shot. The top of the net was open here as he stays down. Shot didn't connect. But maybe that you're talking about Johansson and the chemistry with Atkinson off the ice, and maybe that makes for a reason why Atkinson is comfortable being vocal with Johansson. Sometimes you get to play with that superstar, the guy that likes it, likes to play it his way, and you want to say, hey, when I'm here, don't be afraid to give me the puck.
Well, the coach will dictate who plays together, but Atkinson loves playing with Ryan Johansson, and who wouldn't?
I think everyone does. I think you'd love playing with Ryan Johansson.
Yeah, I would.
He's got that ability to make players around him better.
Jody, you might still be in the league if you played with him.
Yeah, imagine that.
Oh, that was a cheap shot. Sorry. But I owed you one from a few games back.
Okay.
We're even now.
You're keeping track.
Yeah. You'll get the next one in, I'm sure. Here's Hartnell. Less than 3 minutes left. Brouwer looks off Olsner. Kuznetsov sends it towards the net. Prout off the wall for Morin. Olsner picks it up, walks back into his own zone. A little more than 2 minutes left. Carried in and across the line. Johansson on to Brouwer. Brouwer deals to the point. Quick wrist shot off the toe of McElhaney, who scrambles back to his feet.
He might have got bumped again there, Jeff. He's ended up on his backside, but made the save through traffic. Blue Jackets are going to go to the box here.
Penalty upcoming, and they're going to check is it 2 or 4. Kuznetsov is being examined by the referee, Brad Watson. Will it be 2 or 4?
Well, if he's cut, it'll be 4.
Columbus penalty 51, 2 minutes, high stick.
And watch 51 there. He just gets his. He's got one hand on the stick and gets it up right in the visor. The veteran Tootin knew right away. He checked to see if the ref saw him doing that, but here goes Washington on the power play, Jeff. We'll have to keep an eye on Ovechkin here. We know where he likes to set up. His real estate is off. He's an off. He plays the offside, so he's on the forehand receiving the puck from the middle of the ice, and he just leans on it, the slap shot. See how the Jackets play him here.
Third in the National Hockey League on the power play. 33 for 135, 24.1 or 0.4%, excuse me. That is 1 percentage point. 1/10 of a percentage point ahead of the Jackets, who are fourth. And, of course, the two teams are tied on the penalty kill at 19th. Jackets at 79.5%. Capitals deliberate. Less than 90 seconds left of the period. There's Green up high. Ovechkin the one-timer. And that one right off the goalpost.
And if you watch Ovechkin there, he just sits there and waits for that puck to come his way. Not much movement. You see him at the bottom of your screen, number 8. Stick not even on the ice. Blue Jackets playing that tight box.
Ovechkin moving in, wrist shot, saved McElhaney off the blocker this time, and the Jackets will clear. as Brouwer finishes a hit there on Wenberg. 1 minute left in the period, less than a minute on the power play. No score. Washington with 10 shots, Columbus with 6. Ovechkin again. This will be his third shot. If he gets it through, it's blocked. Picked up here by Green. On for Ovechkin. Ovechkin trying to get it to the other side. Toss back here to Green. No doubt the focal point of the power play is number 8. Ovechkin, who has 5 goals, riding a 3-game goal-scoring streak. Lets one fly. That's off the mark. 22 seconds left in the power play. A little more than that in this period. Ovechkin again. And there's McElhinney to stop.
Well, great job by Curtis McElhinney and the penalty killing group. And Brad Larson, he's got options. What's he going to do? Is he going to play, just ignore him and let the goalie and the defenders try to block these shots? Or is he going to do what Tampa Bay did with him? Watch Ovechkin. He's on the right-hand side. Number 8, he's got a man-on-man situation. What does he do? He takes the blue player right down to the net with him. He says, hey, you want to follow me? Fine. That opens up number 2, Niskanen, for that real estate. And he made no mistake in that play. That's why Coach Larson doesn't bother with that. He says, hey, we're going to play a regular penalty kill, stay in the box, and when that shot comes, it's on the goalie or the defender to block it.
Here's Backstrom, waning seconds to the power play and the period. Up high, the shot is blocked. Actually went off Brouwer, who fell to the ice. Out steps Tootin. Jackets have killed it off. 2 shots of the power play. There's the horn to end the opening period. Washington almost doubling up on the Jackets on the shot clock, but they failed to score on McElhinney. 11-6 of the shots. No score after 20. Stay tuned. Dave will have a guest, then an excellent feature on the All-Star Weekend festivities. Flip those burgers and send one upstairs for Jody and one for me. Welcome back. My pleasure to welcome alongside Jody Shelley, head coach of the Blue Jackets, Todd Richards. And Todd, your impressions of that opening period?
Well, you could tell that I think both teams were on a break. It started a little sluggish. Our power play, 2 decent opportunities, but weren't good enough there in our execution. And you can see how deadly they can be on their power play.
Todd, you have enough guys engaged in that first period. Hard to tell from up here.
Well, as I said, it's tough coming out of the break. I think getting the legs, getting the mind back working, thinking about systems and what you have to do. To me, it's going to take a hit. It might take a shift. Something to happen to get everybody engaged into this game.
Thanks for this, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
There's Nick Foligno. All but set for the face-off. Ryan Johansson.
Todd Richards there. It's going to take a hit or something. And it's kind of, you feel the guys from up here really waiting. You know, they can't wait to get their backs against the wall, but who is going to grab this with a hit, a fight, a goal? Something big here.
Jackets did dominate the faceoff circle, Jody, 69%. 4-0 with Brandon Dubinsky. Wenberg also was on the positive side. Here's Foligno with Johansson and Atkinson. Swept into the zone. Tossed behind the net. Atkinson looks to walk away from Backstrom. Cycling. Foligno up high. Savard away from Ovechkin. Hands it to Johansson. Jackets in front, and Braden Holtby had the angle. The puck sailed wide of the net. Picked up here in the corner by Carlson.
Atkinson's in trouble there. He went down in a heap.
He's been plagued by an upper body injury, which probably is partially to blame. He just can't go right for that young man. He blocked a shot in the first period. And of course, missed some games. And here he falls awkwardly, and he is in some difficulty there on the bench. Puck play. Burakovsky, quick shot there, off the netting and out of play. And here's how it all happened.
See him working that shoulder there. There he is. He doesn't see 8 coming through and just kind of runs into him. That's Ovechkin. Atkinson was moving his feet. And here he is here just immediately as the play goes back up the ice. You see him favoring that right shoulder.
One thing about Ovechkin, he is one strong player on his skates.
Yeah, there's no question.
He hits hard. And Atkinson was on the receiving end there with that tender shoulder. Let's hope he's all right. The good news is he remains on the bench.
Yeah, and you talk about strong on his skates. That didn't seem like a very hard bump, but just the way it happened, Atkinson's arm was hanging down, and you said tender shoulder. Doesn't take much.
Alzer with a shot. That's deflected off the mark. Played up high here by Niskanen. Able to keep it in. Tossed behind the net for Lyke. Wisniewski defends. Wisniewski not giving up there. Lyke able to sweep it back. Ward will send it around the dasher. Stepping up is Niskanen. Ward to the far side. Alzer backhands it. Picked up there by Lyke up high. Or excuse me, Fair. On for Lyke. Loose puck played there by Hartnell, and a right wing feed for Dubinsky. Darting to the net, as he should, is Josh Anderson, but Dubinsky's shot sailed high and wide. Back come the Capitals, and it's Ward. Through and across the line. Fair and Lyke with him. Ward hanging on. Bump. Fair tosses it off into the corner, where it's played there by Wisniewski. Approaching the 3-minute mark. Feder to Morin with a touch pass there for Calgary, who races into the zone. Green holds him off. Brower's there. Green. Morin comes up with the puck. Good work. Good battle there by Morin. But nonetheless, the Capitals are able to walk it out. Tossed deep in the zone there by Johansson. In front there, the attempted shot by Kuznetsov. The Jackets block that. Away goes Morin. The right-handed shot down the left wing. He's got Calvert with him. Looks for the trailer Prout. Picked up there by Kuznetsov. Across the line, Kuznetsov turned around on the play, throws it into the slot. Calvert is there for the Jackets, and the outlet pass on the right wing for Morin. With Calvert, 2-on-2. This one played for the right wing boards, gloved and held by Holtby. No further play.
Couple plays there, Jeff, that happened. It was quite a series back and forth for the Blue Jackets and the Caps. Here's Dubinsky. He's coming up the ice. Look at the middle drive. He's got Wisniewski behind him ready to take that shot. But Dubinsky, I don't mind the mindset, but he missed the net. And look, as that play goes out, and watch Wennberg here. 41, right in front of the net. Neatly picks up that puck off Prout's skate and goes the other way. Good poise by the young defender. And I don't mind the mindset of Dubinsky. He's just got to make sure he hits that net.
Beagle turning away for the Jackets forecheck. Bull finishing a hit there on Carlson. Chimera chips it off the wall to center. Wilson hustling here as the Jackets are able to clear. Capitals come back again. Swept into the right wing corner. Out of the net there. McElhaney. Wilson was bumped. Bull, nice move there and walk away from Wilson. Cross ice. Jack Johnson joining the rush on to Corey Trop. Trop looks, sends it in front of the goal. Right up ice transition by the Jackets, and Mark Letestu gives Columbus the 1-0 lead.
And that was a great sequence right there, Jeff. Started in the own end. What's your goal here? You mentioned it. Heads up play, poised with the puck. Watch him here. Look at that head up. Cross ice pass, Jack Johnson. And that's the defensive zone play, but Corey Trott with a nifty little move there. Mark Letestu makes no mistake, and that's got to feel good for that fourth line. But Jared Bull said himself, we have got to bring more to this team. Energy, yes, but how about production on the score sheet? That man's not going to get an assist, but Jared Bull with a nice play in his own end.
He started it as he walked off the wall, holding on to possession, and then the Jackets in transition move up ice, and Letestu sweeps it home for the 1-0 lead. In front, save McElhaney, rebound, Backstrom sends it wide.
That was Ovechkin alone in front of the net. Jackets got to tighten up right here. Shift after a goal is a big shift.
Ovechkin. Shot that glanced off the goalpost. That's the second post. Jack Johnson picks up the second assist, primary assist to Corey Trott. And Jack Johnson has really picked up in the points parade here. That is his 9th assist and 12th point in the last 21 games. As you get a look close up there of Niskanen. Jackets lead 1-0. After a scoreless first period, they've been outshot 15-9, but not outscored.
And this lineup with the Ovechkin. Ovechkin's been out there a while. He came out with his original line, and now he's out there. As we look at this save by McElhaney, Ovechkin left all alone in front. McElhaney stares him down. Watch this. Curtis doesn't get out very much, doesn't get a real good push off his edge to get out and challenge, but uses reactions there to make that save. I was mentioning Ovechkin's been out there a while. He's caught on an icing here in this defensive zone. See if the Jackets can take advantage.
Trout with a long shot blocked in front. Following through there was Anderson, but he chopped it wide. Dubinsky tied up by Olsner. Hartnell along the wall. Niskanen is there defending. Dubinsky with Fair draped all over him. Ward trying to chop it ahead. Fair knocked down there by Dubinsky. Jackets keep it in, albeit briefly, as Niskanen sends it to center. Washington now come across the line. 3-on-2. Long shot. Glove by McElhaney. He'll hold on.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey is brought to you by Nationwide, the official sponsor of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
That last shot came off of Brooks' stick, and he was waiting for Ovechkin to get off. As soon as he got off, Light got on and fired it. That man, McElhaney, snagged it with his glove. He's been busy here tonight. Made some pretty big saves, and a couple shots off the post we've heard. But those don't even count as a shot on net.
No, they don't. Matt Calvert chips it ahead. We talk about Ovechkin in his ice time coming in for the second period. He is second to Troy Brouwer in time on ice for Washington, and one of the forwards with the most ice time. Played better than 6 minutes. Jackets again around that Washington net. Now Hudson able to poke check it away, but the Capitals are finding the Jackets awfully tough to deal with in their own zone, and now a penalty here for hooking will give the Jackets their third power play.
And I like this line with Morin and Wennberg right now. Matty
Washington penalty 38, Hook.
Tenacity on the puck, speed, taking away time and space, and not only getting the puck, but keeping their feet moving. Now here's an example of right here. Watch Wennberg. Not only gets the puck, look at his skates. They're moving, and that he's trying to keep moving. And as he's doing that, the ref takes note that, hey, he's hogtied. By that man, Jack Hillen was shaking his head no, but Jackets on the power play.
And it's for the third time tonight. They are 0 for 2 with 3 shots. They had 2 shots on the previous power play, 1 on their first of the night in the opening period. Actually, both power plays coming in the first 20 minutes. Jackets set it up for you. Wisniewski and Connaughton are on the points here, with Foligno, Johansson, and Scott Hartnell up front. Foligno threw it across the line for Hartnell. Hartnell looks off Light, sends it back to Wisniewski. Right-handed shot on the left side. Just whistled it wide of the net. May have been redirected. Down low. Johansson takes it back from Foligno, fires a shot. That ricochets off the wall and ends up all the way back in Jackets territory, where McElhaney will tee it up there for Wisniewski.
2 quick, hard shots there. One by that man, James Wisniewski, from the point. That didn't miss by much. And the other one, Ryan Johansson, wasted no time as he got the puck back from Nick Foligno.
Jackets dump in. Braden Holtby out. Left there for Carlson. Rimmed around the boards. It gets away from Foligno. Short-handed, 2-on-1. This is Beagle. Beagle cross ice. Oh, moving laterally to make the stop there was McElhaney.
What a save off that right pad. Just kicked it out. McElhaney, here come the Jackets.
On an odd man rush. McElhaney stymies the Capitals. 46 seconds remain. And a penalty to Hillen for hooking. Dubinsky slides one across here for Wennberg. On to Atkinson. Atkinson back after taking that hit from Ovechkin. Dubinsky drops it back. Johansson. Dubinsky. Dubinsky throws it in front. Holtby got just enough of it to steer it wide. Less than 20 seconds left.
He didn't put all the meat on that puck, but boy, I'll tell you what, he made sure it got to the net. Holtby made the save, but good idea by Dubinsky.
Savard, Wennberg, Atkinson, Wennberg, tapped in front. Dubinsky sets the screen. This is Wennberg, fires a shot, and that's deflected off the netting and out of play. 1 second left in the Hillen penalty.
Let's go back to that little breakdown by the Jackets where the Capitals got a 2-on-1 break. Watch his save. McElhaney's got to push across. Not only that, throws the right pad out. Man.
Nationwide excited about the Jackets' 1-0 lead. Hey, tonight on Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1, Super Bowl week officially kicks off with Media Day. We'll head to Arizona to relive the the most memorable moments. We go one-on-one with Pete Carroll, find out why he recommended Bill Belichick as his successor in New England. And LeBron has the Cavs rolling on a 6-game winning streak. How would they handle the shorthanded Pistons in Motown? Tonight, Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1.
Ryan Johansson, the All-Star, a couple goals in the All-Star game, and had them early in the game. Talked to his dad during the game. He said the kid can't score a hat trick. Late in his junior career, he scored one. He said he won't get it tonight. He can't score a hat trick. Sure enough, he did not get a hat trick in the game. But I tell you what, picked up the MVP, got the Honda. And I said to Ryan, I said, your dad will probably be driving that Honda. He said, I don't think so. He worked for Toyota for a long time.
25 years. Good line. He doesn't know what to do with that car.
Just drive it. Or do what Ovechkin did.
Good point by you. Stepping in front of his own net, Prout on to Johansson. Foligno down the left wing and across the line. Foligno trying to walk around Carlson. Played there by Orpik. Chipped off the boards. Knocked down by Johansson. Good active stick there. Morin up high. Morin lets one fly, and it's deflected.
He didn't
off into the corner.
Didn't really get everything on that. He was getting checked from behind. But had enough strength to get it at least through towards the net.
Burakovsky unable to play it. Across the line, poke check there was Dubinsky by Mike Green. Connaughton dumping it in. It'll be played here by Holtby as we approach the midway point of the second period and the hockey game. If you joined us late, Lechestu on a good transition. Jackets head up ice, and he sweeps it home at 3:45, assisted by Trott and Jack Johnson. 1-0. Jackets lead. Almost doubling up on the shot clock. Washington with 19. Curtis McElhinney continuing his fine play of late. He has stopped all 19 shots directed his way. Came in tonight having won 3 and lost just 1 in his last 6 appearances.
The chance of a lifetime, yesterday and tomorrow, sit side by side. It's the Daytona 500 this February 22nd. Tickets on sale now at DayTona500.com.
That man there, John Carlson, veteran of the league, but he's still a young player. And there was an article today about his work ethic and his attitude and how he goes out 15 minutes before every practice and works on some of the details that he needs to work on in the game. And one of them is as simple as picking up the puck on his backhand off the wall. And you wouldn't think a veteran player, a guy that actually arguably could have been in the All-Star game, he still does that every day with Coach Todd Reardon. A little note for the young guys who are looking to play hockey. Maybe as they get older, they think that they know it all or don't need to work on stuff. It never stops.
These guys work on it whenever they're on the ice. A lot of them stay on the ice well after practice. And, of course, one of them, perhaps the hardest working Blue Jacket, and that's not a slight on anybody else, is goaltender Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah, but he does such unconventional stuff that only he knows what he needs. He goes away in Europe to Austria to a training facility and works on his game. He studies other goaltenders and what makes them successful and brings that into his game, the details of the game. And that is going on throughout the National Hockey League. I know Wenberg, the young rookie, gets his clips of his shifts and his face-offs from Dan Singleton, the video coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and watches, pays attention, and works on things.
I'll tell you what. A good mentor for Curtis McElhinney, whose game has been elevated this season. Good mentor is Bobrovsky. You think he's watched Sergei here and how he works and prepares?
No question.
Lechestu, Tootin drills it. Holtby on the short side.
Maybe Bobrovsky watches McElhinney, too. You can learn a lot from a pro like McElhinney. He just comes in and does his work every single day.
Breaks down that game. We talk to the players. We talk to Coach Richards on Blue Jackets Live. It's presented by IGS Energy. IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas costs. Enroll at IGSenergy.com.
James Wisniewski, Jeff, we saw him on a rush there looking to take the shot. He's been very responsible defensively, and he's been excellent offensively. Just chipping in, making the right decisions in the defensive zone has really parlayed and helped the team have some success offensively. And this defensive core has really chipped in with some goals. We talk about secondary scoring. Got some tonight from that fourth line. This line's been going for the Jackets. A couple more lines now need to get going to have success against these Capitals.
Atkinson pinned along the wall there. Puck comes free to Johansson. Ryan Johansson deals to the point for Wisniewski. On for Connaughton. Connaughton redirected there, alertly so, by Atkinson. Up high. Atkinson needs one to go off his back. And in that drought. Tried to redirect there. Battles for position in front. But Washington is clear.
Icing waved off there as Wisniewski goes back for it late in the shift.
Hartnell shovels it ahead. Dropped there by Dubinsky. Overskating the puck was Anderson. Carried in. Ovechkin. Had it knocked away. Good defensive play there by Connaughton. Backstrom tries to get it back and does. Backstrom. Pressure there by Dubinsky. Ovechkin plays it off the wall and quickly fires a shot. All in one motion.
Doesn't take him much time to get that puck off his stick, does it?
No, it doesn't. There's redirected over top of the net. McElhinney never saw it. Burakovsky. Looking, picked up there by Ovechkin, tried to bank it off McElhinney, who was hugging that far post. The Jackets walk it out, and down that right side, Anderson chips it by the defender. Orpik, watch out, here comes Orpik with a high hit, left his feet to hit him. Anderson's a big boy.
He looked a little stunned on that hit, Anderson, as he tried to gather himself to play that puck that ended up right back in his feet.
Orpik is one of those guys that leaves his feet to throw a hit. We saw that several times in Pittsburgh as a member of the Penguins. Less than 7.5 minutes left.
Yeah, he's been suspended for a couple of his plays. He's a big guy, plays physical, very defensive-minded.
Jack Johnson unable to keep it in. Moved ahead there by Ward. On for Light. Jackets chop it back out to center. Ward now brings it back in with Fair. The long shot fought off by McElhinney. Settled down, looking in front there. But unable to make the play there was Ward. The Jackets have chopped it out in a race for the puck. Niskanen and Matt Calvert. Calvert gets there. Good hustle. Calvert circles the net. Niskanen draped along with him. There's a shot that sails wide of the net. Purposely sent there by Dalton Prout. Ward late in the shift. Pressure. Fights off the hit there from Wenberg. Alsner camped behind the Washington net. 6:42 left. Neutral zone play, and Fair sends it for Light. Prout defending. Gets some help from Corey Trout. Capitals. Ward, what a shift for him. He's been out there for a while. Moves to the front of the net. Green purposely sends it wide. Battle ensues. Light knocked down. Played there by Wenberg. Wenberg will lift it up and out. Capitals change up.
Impressive poise by the rookie Wenberg right in front of the net. Sometimes it's not too easy to keep your poise and not panic with that puck in front of your own goaltender.
6:11. Look at Orpik leave his feet.
Jackets here nationwide. Brad Larson, what does it mean to you to have the contributions coming from the fourth line, the goal, and some good opportunities in the second?
Yeah, it's huge. Bowler made a great exit pass to 26 there, and Tropper, great feed there into Mark. So that's huge. Anytime you get contributions from the fourth line, it's big.
You feel like the rust is slowly coming off as well, team-wide, as these guys kind of get back into the swing of things?
Yeah, kind of knocking the cobwebs out. It's only been 4 days, but it seems like a lot longer. You don't get that many breaks like that during the season.
And Todd Richards mentioned in their pre-period interview, well, what's it going to take? Is it going to be a hit, a goal, a fight? Well, there you go. Fourth line goal has rocked everyone for the Blue Jackets on their toes here.
They lead 1-0. Jackets scoring their goal here in the second period. Early, they had 6 shots in the second, 9 for Washington, a 2-period total of 20 with 5:40 left. Second period, nice pass there. Hartnell, Dubinsky, stick breaks. He'll drop it. Washington now. Green dancing away from Hartnell. Sends the pass out to the neutral zone that Brouwer was unable to cradle, but Johansson does. Johansson coming in off the wing, hugging that far post. Not much of an angle to shoot at as McElhinney hugs that far post.
Saw Nick Foligno pick that puck up right in front of McElhinney to get it to safety. Blue Jackets did a good job of that.
In front. Boy, Washington had too many men on the ice there. Brouwer fell as he tried to make his way to the bench. It was behind the play, so officials never saw it. Play allowed to continue. There is Johansson. Wisniewski back from the point. Oh, bump there and tossed into the goaltender, and there'll be a penalty there to Foligno.
No, there's no penalty. But hopefully he thought there was, and he's skated to the bench.
Wow. I thought there was, seeing Holtby make his way towards the Washington bench. He has a long way to go.
He was halfway out of the zone.
Here's Foligno, none the worse for wear. Comes back after the collision. Throws it in front. Connaughton in off the point. Can't pull the trigger. There's Johansson. He scores on the feed. Ryan Johansson. And it's 2-0 Blue Jackets.
Well, how about that series of events? As Holtby thought he got pulled over by Nick Foligno and thought there was a penalty call, but actually Foligno got pushed into him. And as the Jackets come back here, look at Connaughton up in the play. That's a defenseman with the puck in the offensive zone. What a pass to Ryan Johansson, who's covering for Connaughton in the defensive position, but takes that puck from Connaughton and snaps it home. There's that collision with Foligno. Watch Holtby here. He got up and skated towards the bench.
Well, the reason there was no penalty called there is because Orpik cross-checked him into the goaltender.
That's right. And good on the referee to identify that and not just make the call on contact.
Johansson, the Jackets' leading point getter, has now tied Nick Foligno for the team lead in goals with 18. Jackets with 2 second-period goals. Less than 4 minutes remain.
I love how Connaughton was in the offensive zone deep.
Niskanen scores. There was all kinds of traffic in front of McElhaney. He had no chance on that whatsoever, and in fact could have been bumped. And Washington has cut the lead in half.
Shift after a goal. You want to manage the puck and keep the momentum. Looks like Matty Calvert's going to block that shot. McElhaney's got 2 players in front, including his own and David Savard. As this puck goes through, gets deflected, it looks like it goes downward, maybe off the goaltender. Washington only has 4 guys on the ice. The referee identifies that. Here comes Brouwer.
Jody, question for you. How many times, and it's been an Achilles heel for the Jackets, after they score a goal, do they allow the opposition to come back with a goal? And just 33 seconds after the Johansson goal, why Washington comes back to cut the deficit.
Yeah, you can't have that. You can't have that great momentum push. Your guys celebrating. That next shift, it's crucial. Even if you just keep it simple and chip the puck in and try to forecheck, it's crucial to keep the momentum going. And I thought after the first goal by the Blue Jackets, the next line that came out didn't do a great job in controlling the play. It seemed like Washington came out with more urgency.
Dubinsky, cross ice there for Fedorchuk. Sends it in. Holtby unable to play. A little more than 3 minutes remain here in the second period. All the goal scoring in the second. Washington has cut the deficit. Goal comes 33 seconds after the Johansson goal. His 18th of the campaign. Johansson, rightfully named the first star of the week yesterday by the National Hockey League for his all-star performance. Nice to see. Hillen. Burakovsky. Oh, good anticipation there. Heads-up play by Corey Trop. He saw Ovechkin out of the corner of the eye and then just tipped that puck away from the Washington Capitals.
That fourth line has had a good game so far. Corey Trop with the puck, Jared Boll and him with defensive plays.
As we go to break, Ryan Johansson picks up his 140th point of his career with that goal. And how about Foligno? 1 away from 250.
And we're back. It's 2-1 Jackets lead here. And let's take a look at the Ohio Health. Great save. And it's Curtis McElhaney. Short-handed chance for the Capitals. That's Eric Fair from Jay Beagle. But look at that save. Curtis McElhaney gets that pad over and then flicks the puck out. Big save, big momentum builder for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
From the draw. Washington sent it to center. Jack Johnson stepping up. There's a trip of Foligno by Ward. Holtby for Niskanen. Goal scorer for Washington. Assist to Backstrom.
Jason Chimera was trying to chase down that puck. Great speed. Savard got there ahead of him. Chimera is still talking to the linesman. He's always had great speed, Chimera. There's Corey Trop. I like his play. You mentioned his last defensive play there, but a couple good plays in the offensive zone by that guy. He's kept his feet moving, protected the puck, taking it right to the net. Actually, one time he actually ran into Holtby. Got away with it.
Oh, you're talking about the play of the fourth line, and no doubt. It's a 2-on-1. Moving in, save McElhaney, rebound, scramble in front, loose puck. McElhaney is down, lost his mask. Jackets move up ice and plays whistle down as the mask has come off the head of Curtis McElhaney after being thumped.
Watch this, Jeff. Right from the faceoff, set play by the Washington Capitals. Watch this. 25 goes wide. And look at Joe Ward in the middle. He goes wide but high. Picks up that puck. That creates that 2-on-1. That was a set play with speed. And good job by Chimera to pinch that play off. But great job by McElhaney. Look at the confusion in front. Dubinsky comes back in desperation. Got to be sharper off the faceoffs. Here's another set play. You see Ovechkin backed up there as Backstrom is set into place. Let's see what Burakovsky does here.
By the way, Burakovsky's now been credited with the goal. They've changed it from originally crediting the goal to Niskanen. So it's now Burakovsky with his 7th from Niskanen, whose shot from the point was redirected, and Backstrom.
Yeah, you could see it change directions. Couldn't tell if it was off McElhaney or the player in front, Burakovsky.
A little more than 90 seconds remain here in the second period. The puck sent to center. Picked up there by Dalton Prout, hammered in. Holtby to play it. Holtby now will rim it around the boards. Pinched in along the right wing, set in front for Foligno. A perfect feed from Johansson, but he could not convert.
Johansson barely even settled that puck down, just got it down towards the stick. Knew Nick Foligno was there. He heard him call for it and got it right to him.
He has the softest hands. And able to get it right on the tape there. This is Prout. Less than a minute to go. Atkinson deals it back. Shot by Teuton. Scores! Fedor Teuton. That'll be his 2nd of the season. And the Jackets have regained a 2-goal lead.
Wow, did he ever fire that puck? It was a good play by Dalton Prout to keep the puck, and then he gets low. And Teuton, when he gets it high like that, sees traffic in front. Watch him. Head up. Low shot. Not much windup. Oh, yeah, no, that was a big windup for Fedor Teuton. Look at that puck. Barely off the ice. But he wanted to get that in there as quick as he could because he saw all the traffic in front of netminder Braden Holtby.
Columbus 3, Washington 1. Final minute of play here in the second period.
Second goal of the season scored by number 51.
Teuton, who until recently had not scored a goal, comes through with his 2nd of the season, as we mentioned. Washington come back again.
Number 47.
Jackets break it up down low. Off the stick there of Kuznetsov. Picked up by Johansson. Kuznetsov from the right wing board sends it high and wide. Atkinson and Prout draw the assist, and Washington, again as they did previously, come right back and score to cut the deficit to 1.
And Todd Richards had Mark Letestu out there with Wennberg, 2 centermen, and Calvert, responsible players. Urgency to manage the puck. They couldn't get the puck out past the speed of the Washington Capitals in the neutral zone, and here they come. That's the attack. And then this little shot at the net gets deflected past McElhaney. And Brouwer makes a nice play in front.
Well, on Washington's first goal, they score 33 seconds after the Jackets took a 2-0 lead on the Johansson goal. And then after the Teuton goal, instead of 33, took him an extra 36 seconds.
He won't be happy with that, Todd Richards.
Not at all, and especially in the final minute after you restore what was a 2-goal lead.
Washington goal is his 13th of the season, scored for 20 Floyd Robert.
Final seconds. And that will do it. A one-goal hockey game. 5 goals scored in the second period after a scoreless first. Washington with 23 shots. The Jackets with 18. 3-2 Columbus. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Huntington Bank. At Huntington, you can bank like a real fan. Get your Blue Jackets debit card at BlueJacketsBanking.com. And by Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets. All but set for third period play back here at Nationwide before the Jackets head out on a brief 2-game road trip to Florida, which will start Thursday against the Panthers and conclude in Tampa Saturday night. Both games here on Fox Sports Ohio. But how about the IGS Energy performers through 2 periods of play?
Ryan Johansson also has 2 missed shots with those 3 shots, so the mindset is there, doing well in the face-off. Niskanen leading the Capitals in ice time. Right there, that's the 15-17. Those guys are your IGS Energy performers.
And incidentally, Johansson's goal ties him for the team lead, and he already leads in points. He's now tied with Nick Foligno, each with 18 goals on the season. It's 140th point, that goal by Johansson. And now Foligno within 1 point of 250 of his career. So lots of milestones ahead for the Jackets. And let's not forget Scotty Hartnell, because with tonight's start, Hartnell now is only 6 games away from 1,000. He's got 9 points in the last 9 games. Pointless here tonight, but Scotty Hartnell certainly an integral part of this Blue Jacket Hockey Club, Jody.
Yeah, no question. 1,000 games. Came in as an 18-year-old in Nashville. First-round pick. And he was going to get his 1,000th game earlier this season, but got struck with that injury that pushed it back. So as it sets up right now, he's going to play it against Philadelphia.
Now, how ironic is that? There's Atkinson, backhands one deep into Washington territory. 30 seconds into this third period, Niskanen moves it up the right wing boards. Niskanen again. He had a great playoff for the Penguins, which translated into a huge deal with Washington.
Free agent signing. Nice pickup by the Capitals. A good solid defenseman who's really just emerged in the last few years as an elite player in the league. And he definitely got rewarded with his contract.
Oh, a turnover there, and Fair backhands it wide. Terrible giveaway by the Jackets down low, but unable to capitalize. We're the Capitals here in front again. Hartnell now, as the penalty has been called, and it will be against the Blue Jackets, a tripping penalty. Assessed, I believe, to Dubinsky.
Yeah, looked like
Columbus number 17, non-penalty for tripping.
Looked like he was jockeying for position on the back check, and as he got tangled up with the opposition, they both went down. There, the puck is heading up ice, and there's Dubinsky trying to keep Fair away from back checking on Hartnell. As he does that, Fair loses his edges and goes down. Might have went down too easily, but on that angle, it definitely looked like a interference or tripping, and he got the tripping.
Caps are 0 for 1. They had 3 shots on their previous power play. Here's Green. He'll lead the rush up ice. Throws it up the middle. The home run pass there, just missing Troy Brouwer, former Chicago Blackhawk. Brouwer second to Ovechkin in power play goals. Ovechkin camped on the near circle. There's a quick shot there by Brouwer, and it's deflected out of play.
Let's take a look at the last power play, Ovechkin. Everybody in the world knows where he stands on the power play. And it's right there. He had 7 shots in the first period. 7, and that one there is off the post. 7 attempts, I should say. And they're all coming on that offside. And by the offside, I mean he's got a right-handed stick, but he's on the left side of the ice, and that just leaves him open to receive that puck and at one time put it towards the net.
Johansson with a steal, sends ahead there for Calvert. Defending, though, was Green, and Ovechkin finishing the check there on Matt Calvert. 2 minutes into this third period. Down the right side. Johansson Dishes to Backstrom. Backstrom back to Johansson. Oh, what a nice stop made by McElhaney. The Jackets steer it to the corner.
Came off McElhaney's left pad and back out in front under his right arm. He didn't know where it was, but neatly cleared by his defenseman.
Green backhands it onto the right wing there. Jackets able to clear. It's Foligno who sends it back into Washington territory. 40 seconds left in the Capitals' second power play.
The defensemen for the Blue Jackets are doing a good job at standing up at the line, being there right there to confront the Capitals as they try to enter.
Dalton Prout reaching for it there. Bouncing puck in the corner, picked up there by Letestu. 20 seconds remain of the Dubinsky penalty. Jackets send it back into the Capitals' end.
Nice support by Mark Letestu. Picks up the puck on the wall in his forehand. It was rimmed around him and clears it all the way down.
Jackets defend down low. 2 seconds and 1. Dubinsky up and out as McElhaney covers up.
Good job by Curtis McElhaney there, just managing the puck there by getting the whistle. Had a couple big saves, and this was probably the biggest one on the power play. Right in front. Look at him here. Goes off that pad. Let's see the puck. It peeks out. And in front, that was actually Cam Atkinson, the forward. Watch his puck. Circles back under his right arm. Now, he doesn't know where it is. Off the pad. Back out in front. You see it there. Atkinson's stick pokes it out of trouble. Great play by the forward Atkinson coming back in his own end.
Hartnell flips a backhand there for Corey Trapp. It's moved by Orpik to the right wing boards. Jackets come up with it, thrown up high, looking for Hartnell, but the pass was behind him, and now a race for the puck. Curtis McElhaney to play it. Left for James Wisniewski. On to Kevin Connauton. Connauton, his intended pass knocked down. Wilson now carries in and across the line. Defending is Connauton. Connauton takes Wilson to the boards. Battle ensues along the wall. Jackets come up with it. Good work there by Wisniewski, and away goes Corey Trapp.
Yeah, Wisniewski there gets body position quickly. Ends up with the puck on his stick, head up, and makes the play up to Trapp.
4 minutes plus gone here now in the third period. Jackets cling to a 1-goal lead. Savard unable to complete that pass as it was knocked down by Brooks Light and fired into Jackets territory. Jack Johnson on here for Josh Anderson, who sends it in deep. Holtby to play it. Oh, he partially fanned on that one as Calvert came quickly. Savard, Matt Calvert behind the net. Wenberg cruising in front. Stepping up as David Savard fights off a hit from Chimera. Wenberg unable to keep it in. This is Ward. Ward on for Chimera. Right side. And Ward unable to pull the trigger as the Jackets defend. Wenberg into the corner. Chimera unable to play it, and Wenberg will dish far side for Savard. Off the wall, Matt Calvert, and it's back into Capitals territory and picked up here by Alsner. Jackets caught on the line. Change carried up. Fair looking off the bench. Quick shot. And off the glove there of McElhaney, just trickled wide.
Everyone came off the bench for the Blue Jackets and was focused on Fair in the corner with the puck. And as that happened, a long cross-ice pass, an opportunity for the Capitals.
Ryan Johansson denied. Stop made by Holtby. As Hillen and the Jackets score a high errant puck, hits Backstrom, and the Jackets find the back of the net. And Backstrom's doubled over into difficulty, but the Jackets with Cam Atkinson. Finally, Atkinson's last goal came on the 4th of the month. And that is the 4th of December.
That starts with a good hard shot by Ryan Johansson. Puck goes off 19. Backstrom. He might have taken that right in the chin. Nice celebration by these guys.
They're happy for him. Goalless in the previous 17 games. He picks up his first goal since the 4th of December against Florida. And how about his record, Jody? He now has 6 goals and 8 points in 8 career games against these Washington Capitals.
How about this? Jacket's going to get a penalty here right off the face-off after a goal. Let's go to Jared Bull. Right off the face-off in the neutral zone after that goal, Jeff, that you were talking about. We saw Cam Atkinson in his elation of scoring, but now they got to go right on the penalty kill here. Let's look at 40 here. Just gets his stick in the midsection as Washington tries to forecheck. Now the Jackets are on the kill.
This will be the third power play for Washington. Capitals are 0 for 2 with 4 shots. Tootin picks up his second point with an assist on the Atkinson goal, and Foligno similarly his second point. 5:20 the time of the goal, but right now the Jackets a man short.
From 51 to 71, time of the goal 5:20.
Loose puck. Picked up by Wenberg. Out of the zone. Ovechkin. Right now, the Capitals playing without their premier playmaker. Backstrom, who's off for repairs. 13:45 left, a little more than a minute in the Jared Bull penalty. Jackets very aggressive on this kill.
Look at Matt Calvert. He's got 4 Washington Capitals around him trying to get that puck. What does he do? Just keep it at his feet, kill time. Valuable seconds off the clock.
Burakovsky on for Ovechkin. Ovechkin to the point. Kuznetsov. Carlson. One-timer. Oh boy, that hurt. Trout dropped in front of that one. He's right back up though. Jackets defend. Ovechkin top of the circle. Near side. Off the heel of the stick there. Foligno ready to sacrifice his body. Ovechkin off the wall. Wrist shot. That's blocked by Prout. That's 2 that he's blocked.
He also took a high stick to the head on the initial entry from Ovechkin. So a couple of shots. High stick. It feels pretty good when the crowd's cheering like that and you're going off the ice.
Kind of softens the pain, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Niskanen to play it. He has assisted on both Washington goals, the primary assist for both. 5 seconds remain in the Bull penalty. He's standing on the penalty bench. Jack Johnson and Chimera come together, and the Jackets have cleared as Bull steps out. And this crowd appreciative of the Jackets killing off the latest penalty in this hockey game.
Maybe it's the play, Jeff, after a goal, take a penalty so that the Caps don't score in the first 30 seconds after you did. Whatever it did, the crowd is back into this game.
No shots on that particular power play for Washington. Jackets doing a terrific job in blocking the shots that were attempting to get through to McElhinney in the Jackets' net. 8 minutes into the third. Jackets, for the third time tonight, lead by 2.
Well, that's the mindset you need after a goal, too, is that kind of penalty kill mindset. Block shots, keep it simple, get it out, support each other.
Loose puck played there by Alsner. Head up, dishes it down the left wing. Like. And an interference penalty upcoming here against Washington. Wilson's headed to the gate. The Jackets celebrate. They lead by 2 and are going to the power play.
Jackets with a 2-goal lead here in Columbus. And that man, Dalton Prout, got attended to. You can see he's got a little thing above his eye, a little repair. And that's why Ovechkin in, gets his stick up high. Dalton goes down, no call. Watch this. Seconds later, stands in front of that one-time shot. Gathers himself. I don't know what hurts worse, the eye or the ankle. But he's ready to go for his next shift.
2 block shots on that power play, and Washington failed to get a shot. The Jackets, speaking of power plays, are on one now with a penalty to Wilson for interference at 8:19. And incidentally, Nicholas Backstrom, who on the ensuing play, the Jackets were able to find the back of the net, took a puck off the face below the lip. And he's back on the bench after some minor repairs. There it is.
Look at that thing.
Ouch.
He must have just got it glued together to stop the bleeding so he could just come out and play and then clean it up after.
Wenberg looking to walk to the front of the net. Tried to tuck home a backhand. The Capitals have cleared, sending it back into Jackets territory. Kevin Connauton will pick up that loose puck. He's paired here with Savard. Connauton on to Foligno. Foligno backhands it back. Connauton will step up, and he's first across the line. Connauton away from Alsner, dishes to the corner. Niskanen hard around the glass. Jackets unable to keep it in. James Wisniewski will chop it to the right wing for Connauton. Off the wall, Johansson finds Hartnell. Johansson for Hartnell. Bouncing puck settled down. 46 seconds remaining in the power play. Taken away there by Beagle. Up high. Nice save by Wisniewski. Johansson sends it in front. Hartnell. Wisniewski, the one-timer. It sails wide. Jack Johnson in off the point. Plays it off that backboard. Looks for Foligno. Hartnell hustles to it here along the near boards. Scotty Hartnell backhands for Foligno. Johansson cruising in the slot. He wants it. Jack Johnson back here. Johansson. Wisniewski back to Johansson. Quick shot off the backboard. Unable to tuck it home there was Jack Johnson. That puck was bouncing. Less than 10 seconds left of the power play. Wisniewski steps up. Back for Johansson. And he partially fans on it. Jack Johnson moves it the rest of the way. 1 second left. Out steps Wilson. And the Capitals are 4 for 4 on the kill. Jackets credited with one shot. Wisniewski lets one fly. Blocked in front there by Niskanen. Played there by Fair. He lifted up and out as he was hit there by Foligno. And Fair goes back at 71. As play continues, Johansson lets one rip. The save made by Holtby.
Lots of stuff. Good stuff happening during that power play. Good opportunities. Good puck retrieval by the Columbus Blue Jackets forwards and defensemen.
Well, Ovechkin can't get anywhere. Jackets march out of the zone. This is Josh Anderson. Finds Calvert. Calvert trying to walk around the defenseman. Josh Anderson denied. The stick save from point-blank range by Holtby. Quick reflexes there. Jackets get it back. Letestu. They open the scoring for the Jackets early on in the second period. Here's Calvert with a turnover. Calvert keeps the feet moving in front. Letestu, and he's denied as Holtby makes another stop from point-blank range.
You can feel the momentum from the Blue Jackets. That's 2 shifts in a row. Power play finishes up, and then Anderson, Calvert, Letestu come out and continue the great offensive chances by the Blue Jackets.
It all started with the penalty kill. The Jackets superb on the kill. After taking the lead, Bull went off immediately, and from that point on, Jody, it's been all Columbus.
I'll tell you what, the fans appreciated the hard work, the blocking shots. Dalton Prout taking a stick in the head, no call, but just continuing to play. That's the effort you like to see it from your team.
Listen to the crowd. They chant this CBJ. This is one of the proverbial 4-pointers the Jackets will play in the second half. Unofficial second half. There's a goal.
And that's a rebound in front.
Kuznetsov able to send the rebound home after the initial stop by McElhaney. There was 7:51 left. It's 4-3.
And just as we talk about the great details, the great things the Blue Jackets are doing, the Caps come down, throw one puck at the net, the Blue Jackets can't corral it, and there it is, back of the net, as Wemberg gets to try to spin around to find it. McElhaney just can't get over it. Kuznetsov making no mistake. Johansson with that shot. He gets congratulations from Ovechkin there.
5th goal for Kuznetsov. And at 12:09, Capitals again have cut the deficit to 1. Hartnell far side. Lead here by Dubinsky. Brandon Dubinsky trying to dance away from Orpik. Tosses to the far side. Hartnell in front for Atkinson. 5th goal for Kuznetsov now being announced as Ward sends it off the boards. Chimera on full flight, chops it towards the net. It sails wide. Hartnell now will send it out to center. Halsner drops it right back in. Shots are even at 27. That's after the Jackets were down by 5 after 20 minutes. Here's Johansson for the Jackets. In front, Anderson and Holtby, who's made a couple of big stops here in the third period. And the Jackets took the 4-2 lead.
It was an impressive play by Ryan Johansson. But Anderson knocking that puck towards the net. Looked like it was out of the air. Good speed, good hands by the big man.
Down is Holtby, and he'll hold on with 6:45 left in the third and regulation time. Nick Foligno and the Jackets lead by 1. We're back for the final minutes after this. Back here at Nationwide. And the Jackets cling to a 1-goal lead as we check out tonight's PNC game summary.
And there it is. And we've highlighted hits because, you know what? We wanted them to come out tonight and be physical, engaged somehow. Todd Richards was wondering what's it going to take after that first period when both teams were filling each other out. They lead the hit parade. They lead on the scoreboard right now. And Dubinsky leads with the hits with 8.
Johansson.
6. Dubinsky has 6 hits.
Puck gets away from Niskanen. He'll retrieve it in the corner. Corey Trop to the far side for Alsner. Off the glass and out. Fedor-Tutin, goal and assist tonight. Paired here with Dalton Prout. Rimmed around the boards. Trop cannot trap it. And it's Letestu. First in on the forecheck. Niskanen slides a backhand ahead. Picked up by Johansson. On for Kuznetsov, who has cut the deficit to 1. Kuznetsov trying to walk around Jack Johnson, who will have no part of that. Picked up here by Foligno along the right wing boards. Outlet pass for Johansson. Carlson hands it to Atkinson, and he's off the goalpost of the crossbar.
Good quick release by Cam Atkinson, who picks up the puck on a turnover. Smart play using his speed. Yeah, impressive. Getting that quick release. Pete Holtby just couldn't beat the iron.
Great anticipation there as he picked that pass off. And watch Atkinson get a golden opportunity to pick up his second of the night.
Right here, Washington's got full control, but no. Cam Atkinson, coy there, picks up the puck, snaps it off the pipe.
He read that Carlson pass intended for Borpik perfectly.
So look at the bench. Looks like Jeremy Morin is not on the bench, and he didn't finish the last game in Winnipeg before the break. Took the time to rest up, but Blue Jackets are short-staffed right now as he is in the back room. No information on what's going on back there.
Backstrom. Take it off into the corner there by Hartnell. Good hard hit there along the boards. Ron Savard, who does not give up an inch. There's Green. Green dishes to the corner. Backstrom. Pressured. Savard comes up with the puck. Good board battle there. Won by Savard, and he'll send it down the near boards, and the puck rolling all the way back into Washington territory as we've hit the 15-minute mark of period number 3. Puck chopped to the left wing. Backstrom drops the pass for Ovechkin. The pass there was behind Ward, who attempts to play it. Backstrom. Ward got a stick on it, but deflected it high. And the faceoff will come outside Columbus territory as a result. Well, 2 of the league's premier power plays go head-to-head here in this game tonight, but both have been outdone by the respective penalty kills of both sides, Jody.
Yeah, and that's really the story here, isn't it?
It sure is.
And the Blue Jackets' latest penalty kill really created a lot of momentum for them. After scoring a goal, took a penalty immediately and used that to get the crowd to another level in here at Nationwide Arena. Now up by a goal. Late in the third period, Blue Jackets have got to stay on their game and not just sit back, Jeff.
Washington third in power play efficiency coming in tonight. The Jackets right behind, 1/10 of a point at 4th. The 2 teams tied on the penalty kill at 19th. And they have been exceptionally strong here tonight. Washington with 3 power plays, the Jackets with 4. And now Alsner, with less than 5 minutes left, deals it onto the right wing. Crowd attempting to encourage the Jackets here for these final minutes of regulation.
Good job there by James Wisniewski to find that soft spot. With Ryan Johansson in support down the defensive zone.
Played by Ward. Ward throws it behind the net. Johansson in pursuit. Defending his Prout. Nice play there. Chipped off the boards onto the Jackets bench. No further play. Well, as we mentioned early in tonight's telecast, we're right back at it Thursday night in South Florida. The Jackets will take on Gerard Gallant's Florida Panthers, who are clinging to playoff hopes on the outside looking in. And tonight they are hosting the Detroit Red Wings. As they begin the post-All-Star break, they'll host the Blue Jackets on Thursday.
Jackets here icing the puck. We saw last shift Cam Atkinson in a good position there for support. He's the winger, but he ended up playing the forward down low. He's having a heck of a night, Jeff. He's had some great opportunities. Picked up a goal. Got that monkey off his back. See the excitement from his line mate Ryan Johansson and Nick Foligno when he scored that goal. We've got to stay on the same page here. Puck support, puck decisions are a big part of the last part of this game.
There's Foligno on the far side. Less than 3.5 left. Atkinson, who started this game, gets it to Johansson, who's denied.
Johansson, I think, thought he had a goal there.
Holtby somehow able to stop that one.
That was quick. Got his glove up and his pad. I'm not sure if Johansson just did not get that puck up high enough. Look at Cam Atkinson. Behind the net, a couple quick little moves and then releases that puck up front. Hope he didn't even see that until it hit him. Watch this, Johansson shifts over. Look at that daylight. Off the post, off the pad, just missed it.
He was ready to raise that stick.
It's funny how those guys can find that spot. Ryan Johansson checked his shoulder to see if anyone's around him. Moved over 1.5 feet and got the puck on a stick and almost put it in.
Did you see? There was a corner of the net open, and rather than hit that corner, he hit the goalpost, and then somehow Holtby was able to get by. He's had a strong third period, has Holtby, because the Jackets have kind of taken over the game. They lead on the shot clock. Here now, a quick shot by Beagle, fought off there by McElhaney on the shoulder. Penalty going to be called here for holding.
Backstrom, who took that puck to the face. He's got a massive mark on his chin from where they patched him up. And there he just gets wrapped up around Dubinsky, who's moving his feet. That's Dubinsky, 17. Gets body position, actually. And as he does that, he gets body position to get the puck. Kind of leans into the stick and gets whipped around. Nothing Backstrom could do there.
So the Jackets are back on the power play for the 5th time tonight. They're 0 for 4 with 6 shots. They had 1 in the previous attempt. 2:45 left. Johansson wins the draw. James Wisniewski now on for Johansson. Ryan Johansson to the goal line. Foligno thrown in front. It was blocked partially there by Orpik. Connaughton tosses to the corner. Orpik gets it up and out with some help. Carlson now with Light. Connaughton defends and picks Light's pocket. Light gets it back briefly, but there's Foligno. The Jackets outmanning these Capitals right now. A little more than 2 minutes left.
Connaughton there with a play in the offensive zone. Didn't connect, but then good hustle to get back. Almost a 2-on-1 for him for the Capitals, but love the effort by the Jackets to defend.
Toss behind the net. Orpik is there. Johansson with that long reach, able to come up with it. Orpik finishing the check. It's thrown to the point by Hartnell for Connaughton. Far side. Settled down by Wisniewski. On for Connaughton. Touch pass there. Letting it go to Johansson. 1:50 left. A little more than a minute left on the power play. Johansson down low. Gets it back from Foligno. Tosses it on here to Connaughton. Connaughton. Johansson. Ryan Johansson. Moving in, cross ice, backdoor play, and look at Holtby move laterally to make that stop, and it's a key one.
Johansson just weighing his options. Hartnell's in the middle, Foligno's on the goal line, Connaughton's up high, but Wisniewski sneaks back door, good opportunity. And let's look at the big lots, big play of the game, and it's a save, point blank save by Curtis McElhaney on Marcus Johansson. And how about Atkinson making that play on the penalty kill to clear it from danger?
Lifted up and out into Columbus territory. Back to retrieve is David Savard. Less than 90 seconds left. 37 seconds remain on the power play. This is Dubinsky carrying up ice. Offside.
Dubinsky looked like he was going to pass it there. Maybe even get it deep, and Letestu was anticipating that. Mark Letestu tried to get a jump on the offense. Got caught up, a little hitch there, and now Dubinsky chats with him outside the blue line. Win the draw and attack here. This is the second unit. They'll have 34 seconds on the rest of this power play to get in and get set up and try to create something on Braden Holtby.
Less than 30 seconds left right now. Capitals rag the puck. They'll attempt to get Holtby out after completing the penalty kill. A little more than a minute left. 15 seconds remain. Final minute. Jackets up with the puck. That's Savard. On here for Atkinson. Jackets march out of their own zone. Cam Atkinson backhands a pass ahead for Dubinsky. Jack Johnson, the backdoor play. And Holtby was there to make the stop. The penalty is over.
That was a nice play by Brandon Dubinsky and Cam Atkinson. Cam Atkinson almost looked as though he was going to drop the puck back. Made everyone think he was going to the whole way up the ice. And that gave him a little room. As he entered, he cut to the middle. Dubinsky gets the puck down low, and Jack Johnson, watch Jack Johnson, he's coming down the back door. That puck just rolls off Jack Johnson's stick. As it's rolling and Jack takes a swipe at it, it goes off his stick and into the netting. Faceoff comes outside the zone.
Jackets have outshot Washington 12-5 here in the third period. Holtby gets the word to head out. Puck dumped in. McElhinney cut off by Brouwer. 6 skaters on for Washington. Green to the right wing. Final 30 seconds. Here's Ovechkin. Quick wrist shot. Sacrificing the body there was Foligno. It's gloved and held in there by Ovechkin. But handed right to Matt Calvert. And the Jackets with the net empty. Handed here to Foligno. The backhand played by Green. Unselfishly moved there by Johansson, who gets it a second time and rips it wide of the net.
He knocked it out of the air. Good play by him.
Final seconds. The Jackets start the post-All-Star break with a huge victory over the Washington Capitals, one of the teams they're chasing for a postseason playoff berth. 4-3 the final. Jackets outshoot the Capitals 12-5 in the third and have an advantage of 30-28 overall. Jackets with a goal in the third. Washington with a goal. 4-3 final. Curtis McElhinney. Another outstanding effort by him. And his streak has been superb. Here comes Foligno. And he'll throw a quick jab there at McElhinney. But the Blue Jackets hang on to defeat the Capitals and win in regulation for the first time over the Caps.